Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CanadianGameDevs.com podcast, going live for patrons on March 29th, 2021. Everyone else on March 31st. This is episode number 181, a weekly show covering all the games made in Canada and the people who create them. My name's Steven. It's spelled with a PH and an A, so you'd think it's Stefan. Phonetically, that makes sense, but it's not. Steven. Joining me, of course, the other main dude behind CanadianGameDevs.com. Steven, spelled with a PH and an E, but we say Steve, so that's Steven and Steve, and no one's ever been confused. Isn't that right?
That's right.
How you doing, Steve? You went house hunting today?
I did.
That's exciting. That's big.
It's funny because I saw like 3 houses, and because we're in Owen Sound, which is where I grew up, and like 2 of them were right around the corner from like old neighborhood friends.
Whoa, full circle, huh?
Yeah, so like one of the houses was literally in front, was literally on a street that I played street hockey on like all the time, and like my friend's house was like right there. He doesn't live there, or rather, his parents don't live there anymore. But it was still kind of weird.
Kind of cool though.
It was good. Nothing that we fell in love with though. So we'll see.
You know who I fell in love with, Steve?
Jobs? I don't know.
No, I was gonna say our amazing patrons over at patreon.com/CanadianGameDevs. It's the same. We do it in the same section every week. I set it up for you perfectly. If you want to help us keep the lights on, covering what we do, we just paid all our what do they call them? Domains and stuff. So we can keep all our content up there for people. You can go over to patreon.com/CanadianGameDevs, back us for 2-day early access to the podcast, Discord perks, game key giveaways, discounts for Canadian gaming events, shoutouts at the end of every episode, and the knowledge you're helping us do what we do. And at our top tiered supporters, get whatever they need plugged on our podcast and anywhere else we can to help them out. Like our main man, Eric Beer. Check out thebotbook.com, the BOTbook.com. You can also get in touch with Eric if you want to sponsor Game Slice 2021, which is going all digital this fall. Currently looking for sponsors for all their various tiers to help get the show on the road. It's a game developer sort of like one night showcase /talk /mixer. So yeah, you should get involved with that. Also, of course, as we've been doing for months and months, and we'll keep doing, we want to plug all the ways you can support the Indigenous movements across this land. Landback Land in Ontario, the Wet'suwet'en out in BC, and the Micmac here in Nova Scotia. All the links are at the top of the show notes. And you can watch the Night of Indigenous Devs, which is up on YouTube. And if you want to support Indigenous people through their arts, it's a good way to do it. We're also plugging Achimastawanan and Games is looking for a couple people to join their team. They're working on Hill Agency. It's a noir, indigenous, futurist detective game. So let me find the exact details of that job post. Dun-dun-dun. Steve, you have it, right?
I don't actually.
Ooh, yeah, okay. So they're looking for a 3D character artist for their project. Must be able to legally work in Canada. Diverse applicants encouraged. That link's in the show notes as well. All right, Steve. At the top here, we got some papers on our desk, and we're going to read off them.
First, do you have the sound yet?
I have a sound, yeah. I put it in last week's episode.
Ooh. Oh,
you'd know if you listened like our real fans.
I haven't really listened to any podcasts.
That's fair. You're doing dad
stuff.
Husband, person, living things. Job, Steve. I got so many. We got Bitwise. They're looking for a remote senior engineer on their upcoming project. Dark Slope in Toronto is looking for a senior Unreal Engine 4 VR game developer. And then another senior Unreal Engine 4 VR game developer for a different project, as well as a lead Unreal Engine 4 VR game developer. Fercola in Toronto is looking for a lead Unity developer. Popreach in Vancouver is looking for a lead game programmer, senior game designer, user acquisition manager, and DevOps engineer. And Sago Mini in Toronto has got a whole slew of jobs: data engineer, senior Unity game dev, senior Unity developer lead, Unity game dev, talent acquisition manager, play designer for mobile kids game, and a Unity game dev internship and Unity technical artist internship. Both those internships are paid, which is how all internships should be, Steve. Never let the boss take your labor for free. Always take something back.
Yeah.
Events. College basketball. You chumps. You absolute chuds. You degenerates. That's for later in the show, though. Events, Steve. Of course, XP Game Dev Summit coming back. They had a rough go of it at the start of last year because COVID messed everything up, but they returned, and it's April 8th. You can buy tickets, and we have a couple tickets we want to give to our patrons. So yeah, we should post about that this week. If you're a patron listening to this and you want a business ticket to XP Game Dev Summit, we got you. Unity Club, Steve will be attending. April 12th, maybe at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a Unity project or many you're working on right now? Hang and chat with pals on the challenges, techniques, and learning paths, and more. That's by Dames Making Games Toronto. And the Red Bull Campus Clutch Valorant post-secondary tournament by Red Bull Canada is happening at the end of the month. Whoa, still March. At the end of April 24th, 12:30 to 1:30. I like Valorant, Steve. I played a bit of Valorant. I'm terrible at it, and I'm not competitive. Well, I am competitive, and I'm just like bad. But yeah, I think
I don't think I've seen a second of Valorant footage, and we should just sign up.
We should. Well, actually, we're not post-secondary students, but I know there are post-secondary students listening because we have an audience of students. So if you're out there, you play Valorant, and you want to potentially make some money, or at least maybe make some friends and connections, you should sign up for this tournament. All right, and then I insert the paper shuffle sound effect.
Do you remove that part where you just say?
I don't know. Maybe. Well, last week I kind of just like played it over it, but I don't know. That's kind of dumb. But I feel like people like the process. I don't know though. Let me know if you do or don't let me know. Holy moly, Steve! Options. You have so many options, so many events, so many jobs, so many things are happening in the Canadian game dev scene, as we're going to get to in the news this week. Also, I've been talking for a lot. I realize like when I look at both our audio files on the track for like the first 5 minutes of the show, yours is just like a straight line. I feel bad.
No, it's fine. It's all you. You're the host or whatever. So.
Co-host. I changed
my the main host.
I guess, yeah. I put this little document together. I think it helps.
Did you change your Twitter?
I did, yeah. It's co-run now. I ran out of characters last time, so I just made it run. It was co-run, but I ran out of characters. I'm like, well, I do run it. Like you co-run and run something, but technically co-run's more accurate. So yeah, I dropped some of the end of it, and I put my pronouns in there because I'm trying to be a good ally.
There you go.
Steve, there was so much news this past week. We're going to get up to the ID at Xbox stuff, but we have, as diligent listeners might know, a week we missed. So we're going to go over those stories quick. Twin stick shooter Curved Space is officially releasing on Xbox and Steam June 18th, 2021, as well as Switch and PlayStation. Oh my Lord. Godspeed to the team over Only by Midnight. That's 4 platforms on the same day. This is going to be a couple months for them. I tell you what.
Yeah, that's
Steve, we talked to Only by Midnight last year. Very interesting sort of, what do you call it? Arcade style twin stick shooter, and it uses that like bullets travel over the 3D shape, kind of like in Super Stardust or Mario's Jump in Mario Galaxy. And we liked it. I think I played the demo when it was on the Xbox. What was theirs called? There's too many. There's like Steam Game Fest, Xbox thing. And
you played the demo on the Xbox?
Yeah, they put a demo up for a little bit. I think it was like a week, and it gave me major Super Stardust vibes in the best way. And nice. I don't know, I've been like making fun of people, especially in that ID at Xbox stream, who just like compare games to other games, and that's the extent of how they can describe a game to an audience. But if you like Super Stardust, you'll probably like Curved Space. You're gonna get it on PS5, right, Steve?
Oh, obviously.
Obviously. They're gonna have a platinum, I assume.
I sure hope so. I actually just tweeted about this game that looks like you can get the platinum in like 40 seconds. So if that game can get the platinum, then Curved Space should get the platinum.
Curved Space should get the platinum. I'm pulling for you, Curved Space.
Most games, unless it's free to play, have a platinum now.
Do no free to play games have a platinum?
I think only because didn't you say you guys couldn't get a platinum for Sentience?
I believe so. We're also, sorry about that, early access. I think it'll be early access on PlayStation, but I'm not sure.
Now that I'm looking at like PSN profiles, the most recent trophies, there are some that don't have platinums, but I think free to play games don't have platinums. The only ones that do, like Destiny and stuff like that, are ones that weren't free to play to begin with.
Yeah, I feel you. Like Rocket League.
Yeah, and Destiny 2. And I'm sure
games that launched premium and then went free to play, but kept all their trophies.
Yeah. The annoying thing is that they don't seem to add trophies either. So like Apex Legends, all these games always have.
Apex
fans.
But Apex was like one of the ones that broke me. Like they didn't add any more achievements for every hero. Like Overwatch added like 2 or 3 trophies for every hero, but Apex was like, nah, you'll keep playing, and they were right, Steve. I'm excited about Curved Space. People should check out our interview with Only by Midnight, husband and wife duo out in Western Canada working on this game. Very exciting stuff. We should stream it.
We should.
We could stream it. Have you streamed a game from the PlayStation 5 yet?
No. I don't
We should do that. We should do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I don't even know how it looks like, if it has the same like UI or whatever as the PS4 one did.
I hope it got a fresh UI. That PS4 one was kind of blech, just gray.
Yeah. I didn't like it either.
All right, Steve. Amazon Games. You might have heard of them. Big company, failed games. They're trying again. This time they've opened a studio in Montreal, and this time they've actually hired someone who's made a game before to head the team. So, already making progress, in my opinion. Led from developers of Rainbow Six Siege, also developed. Is that developed in Montreal? Yeah. So. They're working on an MMORPG New World. The VP of Amazon Games, Christoph Hartmann, sounds like a diehard villain, said, Montreal's rich vein of creative talent will be a valuable asset as we continue blah, blah, blah. Highly skilled and experienced team in Montreal. This is the same thing every studio says, even the ones that close like 2 months later. So I don't put a lot of stock in Christoph's pressy words. But this section here, building upon 8 years of experience with Siege, we are excited to start with a blank page and the creative freedom to create a completely unique experience in the multiplayer space, said Javier Marquis, creative director at this new studio. From our first discussion, we felt a true connection with the people at Amazon Games. I'm sure there was a check on the table. Their approach to gaming and the sheer amount of knowledge, expertise, and technology available there. I wouldn't, like...
So much shade from you, Jesus.
Well, I've read a lot of press releases since doing the site, and saying sheer amount of knowledge about a company who's failed to launch a game despite millions put into it at this point, that rings a little hollow.
No, they launched the Grand Tour game.
What was that one?
A episodic racing video game.
Amazon game Grand. Was that developed by Amazon Studios, or was that licensed?
Studios Seattle.
Oh, would you look at that? 91% of Google users like this game.
Oh, look who owes someone. It looks like you owe Bezos a little apology, isn't that right?
I don't think so, but developed by Heavy Iron Studios. Are they Canadian? Nope.
New World's been delayed a bunch of times too, hasn't it?
I don't know. I haven't really been following the Amazon games. I played Crucible, their one they released last year, and then canceled like a couple months later.
Nice.
And
That's
then
the way to do it.
There was all of Bloomberg's reporting after the fact from developers who were like, yeah, there was like the person they hired to do it never worked on a AAA game before, basically had no video game experience at all, and they hired a bunch of people from the video game industry who had experience and then just didn't listen to anything they told them at any step in the process of making the game, and it showed. But Steve, as we've already said, this is already a step ahead of that studio and that project by hiring veteran 8 years. 8 years is veterans in the games industry developers, and that's just 8 years on Siege. Yeah, the average it was like 50 to 60% of game devs leave in the 3 to 5 years.
I believe it,
according to a GDC survey I read 2017 or 18. So yeah, big ups to Javier. Get that Amazon money, get a game out, and we'll be covering it.
Mm-hmm.
Roguelike City Builder Derelict Void is out now on Steam. Steve, this game currently at a 10% discount. Still, by the time you're launching this, I think. Let me double check that. Nope, it's over. Ignore that. You missed it. Which is why you should go to KingGameDevs.com more often. But they had a successfully funded Kickstarter last year. Features a roguelike system to make choices on surviving and managing your resources for your ship's survival. It also features an open content creation tool where you can create mods, share with your friends. Let's see how the reviews are doing. I like to go down to the funny ones. We're at mixed right now, 21.
21 reviews mixed.
Funniest review is, wouldn't recommend living on my spaceship, but would recommend buying this game by Shiny.
I never noticed this.
What's
the
up?
review says if the product was refunded.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
There's one most helpful reviews in the past 7 days. There's somebody who played it for 1.4 hours.
And got it refunded. Interesting.
Refunded and downvoted it or whatever.
Okay. Tagged roguelite with a T, strategy, resource management, sci-fi. The team, of course, Sterling Games, based in... Where were they based? It was on their Kickstarter, but they are Canadian. I have confirmed that. They didn't swindle me like people have in the past.
Their Kickstarter is located in... Doesn't actually say. Oh, wait, Vancouver.
Vancouver. There we go. I'm not a big fan of city builders or roguelite likes, so not my cup of tea. What do you think, Steve?
I might. I mean, I have it on my wish list. I'm kind of the same. I like city builders and I like rogue likes. That's the one
Lights.
where you can
No, tea.
light.
You like
okay,
teas.
yeah. So I don't know. So the combination of this isn't really feeling me, but I like the setting and all that stuff. So maybe on a deep discount or something like that, or if it comes to PS4/PS5. But
Or hit that Game Pass. Get that Game Pass.
oh, I would love that PC Game Pass. Perfect.
Yeah, do it. Do it up. Check that out.
But apparently, like looking at the reviews and looking into the game, it does look like it's hard. Like you basically, your ship will suck for the first like few runs until you start learning the stuff. Which I don't know, given baby and all that stuff, it's kind of difficult to wrap me into that kind of game. But
Some people like that, though.
some people do like that.
Some people are freaks. No, I'm kidding. We love you. Steve, Gotham Knights has been delayed. 2022. This is just take your time. You got that Warner Brothers money, you know?
Yeah, I think a bunch of games are going to get delayed just with everything still happening, COVID going on still. So
Especially in Canada, where a vaccine rollout is poop, but
less than great. Yeah,
less
my
than
mom has
ideal.
the first one though.
Good. I think my dad got one, but
Well, she
Yeah.
got the first dose, and then she thought she would go a week or like a month later, but then was told that they actually want to give everyone the first dose first,
okay,
and then they'll start like going through the second dose. I don't know.
interesting.
They'll figure out. I'm like at the bottom of the barrel though, because I'm like a healthy
You're 2 brackets ahead
stay
of
at
me
home.
based on
dad.
the Nova Scotia age ranges.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm getting
Yeah,
mine
but I'm
in
still
June, allegedly.
Where can you see that?
Well, Nova Scotia Health just like tweeted it out, and they had my age bracket starting in June. But
Oh, so, wow.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gotham Knights is interesting to me, Steve, for 2 reasons. I like the co-op sections of the other Arkham games, and I think building out a whole game around that co-op mechanic has a lot of potential. And I know some of the talent working higher up on this game, and I trust them, and I think they want to make a good game. That said, I will be waiting another year.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it, but I have no problem with it being delayed.
Here's a question, Steve. Still coming to PS4, Xbox One, do you think?
It shouldn't.
Ooh, spicy.
I don't know. 2020. Yeah, I say by 2022 we're still getting like major third-party games, especially ones that are like already. I think 2022 is when we start seeing third-party only PS5 and Xbox whatever Series S.
Like when the sports games go next gen only, it's over.
Yeah, that's when it's over. But I mean, Madden probably had a PS3 release like a couple of years ago. So when was the last Madden release?
I know the show on PS2 went to like 12 or something absurd.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think we'll still get like, you know, the Ubisoft and EA and 2K games on last gen and Warner Brothers.
I actually looked this up today because Batman Arkham Knight, if I recall, was like one of the first PS4/Xbox One only games, like third party games.
Huh.
That didn't come to like PS3 or whatever. And that was like 2 years after.
That was summer 2015.
Yeah, and the consoles released like November of 2013. Right? So it was almost 2 years.
14?
So I would suspect another like 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. You giving them 2 years of wiggle room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like, what are the big ones that are coming out this year? Like Outriders. is
Outriders
on everything.
On everything. Gotham Knights. Well,
Call
not
of Duty,
anymore.
I'm sure will be on everything.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. 2 years, 2023.
We'll be
stopped
interested
seeing them.
actually is Battlefield, because Battlefield 5 is supposed to get, or 6 or whatever one they're on is supposed to get announced soonish for this year. It'll be interesting to see what consoles that one's coming to.
I will be interested, although not on this podcast because it's not Canadian. So screw them.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that game.
All right, Steve. Here's the big money. I got a couple. Before we get into the ID at Xbox stuff, 2 other news stories this week. The Anthem director has left the studio. Jonathan Warner, quote, "Today is my last day at BioWare. Moving on to new things. BioWare has been my home for nearly 10 years. I want to wish all of them the best. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, and SWTOR, Star Wars something, are in good hands, and I can't wait to play them."
That's the Republic or whatever?
SWTOR, I don't know. Nerds will get it if you recognize that one. I can't wait to play them from the other side of the screen. This makes sense, Steve. The everyone is leaving BioWare. The head of Mass Effect left. The head of Dragon Age left. The head of Anthem left. It seems like changing of the guard is the expression people use. I think a lot of people who were at BioWare for a decade, like Jonathan here, and slowly watching EA just ruin it, and they want to go other places.
That's fair. I mean, once you get like a couple years at BioWare under your belt too, I'm sure you kind of get poached and can kind of move. Is where. By the way, fun fact: Madden NFL 17, which came out in August of 2016, was the last game to come out on PS3/360. Last Madden game.
Holy! So 3 years after PS4 launch, they were still making PS3 games.
Yeah.
Don't envy the technical directors on that game. That's not fun for anyone. Also, mad respect to everyone still at BioWare, still making these games. Of course, you're doing what you gotta do, and I am excited to play Mass Effect 4. And I think if Mass Effect 4 is a success, it will be in spite of EA, and a more indicative of the BioWare team.
Mass Effect Legendary Trilogy or whatever is coming out soon, isn't it?
May, I believe.
That's soon.
I don't know if I want to play that one, Steve, because I get this again and again where I play games that I really liked as a kid or in high school as like an adult now, and I don't like them as much because I think tastes change, and you obviously look at things through nostalgic rose tinted windows, and I don't know if I want to do that to Mass Effect because I love Mass Effect, and I have an arc with that game that like stuck in my head, and I don't know if I want to go back to that.
That's fair. I'm kind of excited just because I only played like 1.5 of those games. Like I played 2, I watched a lot of 1, and I don't even think I've seen any of 3. So I'm excited for that reason. But I get what you mean because like I played the Mario
3D
Mario 64.
Yeah.
Which have you seen that like the internet saying that Mario is going to die on March 31st?
He is. They're killing him.
Yeah.
They're executing him.
And like Mario 64 now, I'm just like, what a fucking garbage game.
Yeah. It's tough. I think the Mass Effect 1 changes they're making will, like they're making the combat a lot more like 2. They're changing a lot of the UI stuff I didn't really dig, and they're just making it look a little prettier. I think because 1 was my least favorite mechanically because I don't really like sort of intense RPGs, but 1 is super interesting from the narrative. It sets everything up, and I love the villain in 1, and I love the big choices along the way in 1. So I would go back. Like the most compelling reason for me to go back is to play 1 again with everything I didn't like at the time changed. So yeah,
I wonder if they'll ever release them separately, like they never did with BioShock, which always made me mad.
I don't like how a Legendary Edition drops Andromeda either. That's disrespectful.
Yeah, well, they're just going to
pretend that doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretend it never existed. So,
anywho, good luck, Jonathan, on your next thing, and good luck to the team at BioWare still working away on these. All right, Steve. Oh, one more before all the ID at Xbox stuff. Operation Tango, which I've been very excited about. We've been covering on the site, being developed by Clever Plays in Quebec. Coming to PC and consoles June 1st. It's coming to PS5, Steve. Are you excited?
I am.
Good. I want to play this game with you. For those of you who don't know, this game's kind of like a cooperative espionage first-person game where someone's like in front of all the screens with the like glow on their face, talking to you over the headset, while the other person's in the fields, like crawling through the vents, trying to like tranquilize guys and like drop down from the ceiling and take out the thing. And that's like such a super fun dynamic. I don't think I've ever I don't know. The closest thing to that is like Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes, where someone has the manual and someone has the bomb. But this like just takes that dynamic and I don't know, makes a whole game around it. I'm really.
Have you played that co-op game from the guy who said "fuck the Oscars" that just came out?
No, It Takes Two.
Yeah.
No, I played A Way Out and loved it, so I assume I would really enjoy my time with It Takes Two. But it's not on Game Pass, and I don't really want to buy it right now.
That's fair.
I also read a brutal, I think it was Game Informer, no, Eurogamer. Someone like lambasted the story, which was really funny. Apparently it's like super, I don't want to spoil it for people, but go read the Eurogamer review for. I love a good scathing review. Apparently, mechanically, it's awesome, and like it really is a lot of that A Way Out platforming / cooperative challenges. But I don't think I would connect with the story in the same way as I did the zany prison escape heist game.
I don't even know what the story is. I'm just reading it on Wikipedia right now.
All right, Steve, I'm gonna dump some indie Canadian games on you.
I'm looking at this list, and this is a fucking awesome. Oh man, this is dope.
First up, the big two I want to highlight up at the top. Moonglow Bay, surprise announcement, coming to Game Pass and Xbox platforms. The game designer Albertine Watson is based on Treaty 1 territory in Manitoba, and the co-founder creative director Zach Soares is a French-Canadian currently living in Newcastle. Moonglow Bay is set in an 80s Canadian East Coast town, not anyone in particular. It's got voxel art, but with all the UI and stuff, it's kind of like hand-drawn. It's a really interesting contrast. And you come back to this town, I believe from the trailer, after your dad or grandpa passes away, and you're sort of tasked with, fixing up the boat, going out fishing, and then sort of revitalizing this derelict and fading former tourist attraction / fishing community. It's kind of like the same setup as Stardew Valley in a way, but with a different presentation, obviously. I'm very interested in learning more. The main two things you do are sort of fish. There's a really more detailed fishing mechanic than there is in Stardew, and like upgrade your house, town, equipment, and interact with the community, which is kind of the Stardew Valley aspect of it. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Steam page right now. It's super colorful. Loving it. Digging the voxel stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks awesome. Can't wait. They confirmed Game Pass too?
Let me triple check that on the page. Over 20 ID at Xbox games coming to Game Pass day one. This is from the Xbox News site. Moonglow Bay is confirmed coming to Game Pass day one, cloud and console. I wonder if that means it's not coming to, because usually they say cloud and console and Windows. If it's coming to Windows. Oh yeah, they do say PC. So it's only coming to cloud and console, not PC on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I mean, it has a Steam page, so maybe
Want to get that Steam money.
Yeah, get that 70%.
And Steve, I think the biggest announcement for us as big fans of Drinkbox and Guacamelee and their other work is Nobody Saves the World, the next game from Drinkbox Studio in Toronto, arguably one of the premier indie Canadian game studios. Very different, Steve. It's very different than any of their other work. It's not a side-scrolling platformer like their first couple games. It's not a first-person dungeon crawler like Severed. It is... I want to get this right. I'm going to read this from the site directly.
Baby.
I'm also very interested in the art style. They have Gabby Dorenzo, people might remember from Laundry Bear games and other projects like Super Crush KO. Is I think the lead artist on this, or one of the like upper artists on this. So Nobody Saves the World, quote, transform into a ranger, a knight, and a horse? In this new twist on the action RPGs from the creators of Guacamelee, discover over a dozen forms, mix and match their abilities, complete quests, and ... save the world. A new twist. This is the same thing. Discover 15 different varied and distinct forms, mix and match abilities in unique and interesting ways to complete more difficult quests and unlock more powerful forms. The trailer opens with this sort of world-ending event, and it's sort of all of the like heroes are defeated, and some nobody finds this wand. This like, it looks like the Kirby wand from Smash, if anyone knows that, with the star on the top, and essentially lets nobody pick up or swap between different forms. Like in this trailer, there's like this big hunk in a Speedo, or the ranger with a bow, or a knight, or a magician, or a turtle, or a ghost, or a mouse, or a mermaid. So many different things. And you basically go around completing quests, killing monsters, classic D&D stuff. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, I can't wait for this.
You can't wait for this?
Yeah, it's kind of got the like Legend of Zelda like SNES kind of style, or like
presentation, top down.
Yeah, and I guess like Binding of Isaac and other games like that. I'm happy that it doesn't appear to be a roguelite either.
No, it's just an RPG action game.
Thank God.
It's just going to be a crafted, linear, maybe it looks like there might be some backtracking in the overworld story.
Yeah, good, 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 good. Yo, you gotta throw some love to Severed though. Like everywhere I see too, it's like from the developers of Guacamelee 1 and 2. I'm like, yo, you made a game in between there.
Yeah,
That's
Apple. It was one of the Apple like Game of the Year things on the iPad.
yeah,
It
and
was. I love Severed.
I love Severed too.
More love for
And
Severed.
but anyways, yeah, this game is awesome. The site even like exists because of Drinkbox Studios, because they're like the first. Like Guacamelee was the first game that I like realized they're Canadian, and then sort of sought out to see what else was Canadian, specifically Toronto at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I stand for Guacamelee or for Drinkbox Studios. I love them. They're one of my favorite Canadian studios. So I'm excited for this day one wherever.
Not PlayStation, Steve.
I know the disrespect.
That's big. That's the first Drinkbox game not coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, they had the last like North American Vita exclusive, and then they're just like, all right, we're done with you.
Fair enough. You gotta follow the money, Steve. They got that Game Pass money.
I know. I'm not.
This is launching day and date Game Pass on. Let me see if it's just PC. It is cloud and console, so not PC for Game Pass.
That's fine. I mean, I have an Xbox, so
yeah, I'll play on Xbox too.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Though. Like, can't wait. Really.
Me too.
And it says soonish too, so we shouldn't have to wait too long.
I think I hopped in their Discord. They just announced the Discord when they started or when they revealed the game. I was like Discord member number 31, and they were saying summer is our like optimistic date, but obviously we're leaving some wiggle room because of the gestures to everything. And yeah, I could see this being a July or August game for sure.
Yeah, true.
Cool. All right, Steve, I got a list for you now of other games in there that are coming to Game Pass as well as Xbox, and I'm going to run through them with you. Mm-hmm. Art of the Rally by Fun Skeletor Labs in Vancouver, covered on the site, played on the stream, talked a lot about. It's a great game. They're based in Vancouver. It's coming to Game Pass on cloud and console. Astria Ascending by Plug In Digital and Artisan Studios. Artisan is based in Quebec. Quote, for people who don't know this one, I have to scroll up to it. Turn-based JRPG Astria Ascending. In a world where chaos looms, players take control of the demigods, a motley crew of 8 heroes charged with the fate of the world. Each character has their own story, explored across 5 cities, 25 dungeons, and 30 hours of gameplay, up to 50 hours of gameplay for 100% completion. Wow, they just put all that in the game description. Along with the finely tuned turn-based combat, players can try out a range of side quests and minigames, including original Final Fantasy-themed token game. So I think they're going for that. Octopath Traveler had that like 8 players stories that like interconnect and stuff.
Yeah.
They're also doing a crew of 8 and very obviously Final Fantasy themed with the turn-based combat. Cloud and Consoles 2021. Day one on Game Pass. What do you think?
Nice. I love turn-based RPG, so I will definitely check it out.
Backbone, featured on Wishlist This, talked about a lot. Follow Howard, the raccoon detective, around a dystopic Vancouver with a bunch of anthropomorphic characters. The demo's great. Honestly, everyone should check out this demo. I think it's one of my favorite demos I've ever played. I think like a case in point of like how to sell me on a game. Still up on Steam. Step into the shoes of anthropomorphic raccoon and private eye Howard Lodor to investigate a string of progressively more outlandish events in the backdrop of a dystopian Vancouver, beautifully rendered in 2.5D pixel art environments. I agree with that as well. We talked a lot about Backbone, and we've also talked about Boyfriend Dungeon, which is coming to console and PC on Game Pass. Huge for Kitfox Games in Montreal. Dungeon crawler about dating your weapons. Take your swords and daggers out on dates to level them up between fights and maybe even fall in love. They have a very horny, very nice fan base, and you should go hop in their Discord too for more amazing stuff like that. The Big Con from Mighty L in Toronto. Also, Steve, I think this is like, you were like a 90s kid, right? Or 80s, 90s?
I mean, I'm 86, so...
You were a 90s kid.
I was 14 when 2000 hit.
Yeah, so you grew up sentient in this aesthetic.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Big Con? For those who don't know, it's like a family whose video shop's going under, and this girl's trying to pull off a big con to save it, and it's sort of like a adventure game in the vein of classic LucasArts games.
Yeah, everything I've seen of it, they've nailed like the aesthetic and stuff like that.
Their booth at EGLX was so fun. They had like a shag carpet and like a VHS player and an old TV with like an SNES
nice.
plugged in. It was so fun. It looked like a basement from Stranger Things.
Everything I've seen of this game like looks dope. So I'm excited. I think it's probably soonish too, because I feel like it's coming to. Like I've known about it.
It's coming to Xbox, but not Game Pass. That's one of the ones that's just Xbox. That's okay. As well as these next three. Chivalry 2, which we talked about. Everyone, if you know Chivalry 2, you know Chivalry 2. It's first person sort of big.
We never played the demo.
Medieval. We didn't. Fighting game developed in Toronto by Torn Banner Studios. Echo Generation by Coco Cucumber Co. Also in Toronto. Hot Off River Bond's success. Very Canadian game. And Grifflands from Clay Like Play in Vancouver. Coming to Xbox as well. Those three are just coming, not Game Pass. Last three that are launching on Game Pass: Little Witch in the Woods, Sunny Side Up in Quebec, Moon Glow Bay, as we talked about, and Nobody Saves the World, which we talked about. No worries. Little Witch in the Woods, Steve, if you don't know. Let me read you a little about Little Witch in the Woods. A fantasy role-playing game where you get to live the life of a witch. Play as Ellie, a little witch that's just come to a new town, set to be a part of a quote-unquote witch's house. However, when you arrive, it appears the town is near empty and the witch's house in disrepair. Your ultimate goal is to master witchery by learning potions as an apprentice and gathering materials from across the land, a magical and mystical place full of unique experiences. It's also kind of like a Link to the Past perspective 2D pixel art game. Very cute. Developed in Quebec. And that's everything, Steve. That's a huge list. Oh, I missed one. Our Trio Dark Wild is coming to Xbox, not Game Pass. That one's developed in Alberta. And it's super weird. It's kind of like Day of the Dead aesthetic and like the painted skulls. I don't know a whole lot about it. We featured it on Wishlist this before, and it's very interesting. It's compelling. It's interesting. I'm interested, Steve.
Is that one a Game Pass one or no?
No, just coming to Xbox, they announced.
Sure.
Wow. It's a lot, Steve. It's a lot of news.
It is.
It's a hefty news segment. And, of course, all of these are in the show notes under news. Let's highlight 3 more games, Steve. We've just talked a lot about a lot of games, but I have 3 that I want you to wish list right now. Okay. First, Plague Breaker by Wazi Games Limited in Toronto. It's releasing September 14th, and you can wishlist it on Steam. Quote, Plague Breaker is a retro roguelite platformer with heavy RPG elements. Pick your class and level up, or create new and unique characters by multi-classing across classical trees, all while exploring procedurally generated castle filled with undead monsters and corrupted plague doctors. This one was linked to us in our Discord by Woozy Games Limited. Thank you, Woozy. I love the key art for this game. It's got like the green lines around it, like classic VHS. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The pixel art. I don't know. What is this, Steve? Is this like Castlevania?
Yeah, it's like It's like It looks like Castlevania, but with like more colors to it. Because sometimes you'll see like the NES style, but like the color palette is like bigger. Mm-hmm.
Because they could fit more in there.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I don't know, the NES could do like some like 32 colors or something weird. So. This looks pretty sweet. It looks like kind of a like a more NES looking style, like roguelite or a Rogue Legacy. Sorry.
I see.
Maybe that's just because it's just a castle or whatever, but kind of just like the layout of everything looks like that too. But
top of the Steam description, Steve, heavily inspired by Rogue Legacy.
Oh, there we go.
Castlevania: Circle of the Moon. Plague Breaker features procedurally generated levels that explain as you progress further into the castle. Explore and collect magic weapons and items to prepare yourself for the boss fight.
Which one was Castle of the Moon?
Circle of the Moon.
Or Circle of the Moon. Oh, the Game Boy. Oh, a Game Boy Advance one. Oh, I didn't.
Is that not a popular Castlevania one?
No, I mean I'm not a big Castlevania person, and I like the games I've played. I just haven't really played that many of them. But they did like kind of they did like the Metroidvania style, like but portable. And I know the DS had like 3 of them. And they're good, but I think they did 2 or 3 on Game Boy Advance, and I guess this is one of them. It looks like. But I wonder. Oh, release date September 14th too.
Yeah,
near my birthday.
There you go. We'll get that for you. I gotta ask Steve: is Plague Breaker by Wazi Games Limited in Toronto, Ontario, on your Steam wish list?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Next game today on wish list. This. Steve.
And I'm glad that's roguelite as well.
Yes.
So I'm getting a little burnout on the rogue style games, but
they're everywhere.
Yeah, but roguelite, for me that's the way to do it. So.
Evasive Maneuvers by Sky Pyre Studios in Ottawa, Ontario. It's releasing 2021. You can wishlist it on Steam. Quote, Evasive Maneuvers is a team-based online multiplayer spaceship arena. 2 to 8 players split into 2 teams, runners and hunters. Runners attempt to pick up enough energy to power up the warp gate to allow their escape, while hunters attempt to prevent the runners from escaping by ramming their ships. This team has a lot of experience with these sort of flying, I don't know, like Star Fox, Rogue Squadron kind of games. Mm-hmm. They also plugged it in our Discord, so thank you, Skypire. Big ups.
Yeah, they've been in our Discord for a while, actually.
They seem super cool. I met them at Canada Game Expo 2018. Very friendly. And there's no gifts in the Steam page yet, but that's okay. There's still time. Teamwork, stealth, runners, and hunters. What do you think, Steve?
I like it. I'm just kind of reading the description. So it's a multiplayer spaceship arena. Okay, cool,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Online.
Yeah. I like I don't know if the world, like, I don't know if there's only just this one kind of underwater looking world, like the blue or whatever, but it's quite beautiful. Because you got all the blue and then like all the lasers and stuff are red and looking pretty sweet. So definitely graphically like much different and frankly better than their last game, Blob Fights, which I enjoyed, but in terms of just like the look and aesthetic of this, I'm digging this a lot more. So
I gotta ask Steve, is Evasive Maneuvers by Sky Pyre Studios on your Steam wish list?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Last game today on wish list, this Tank Quest by David Esuis in Ontario. It's releasing April 12th, which is very soon, and you can wish list it on Steam. Quote.
Didn't we do this one? Oh, no, we didn't do this one. Oh, wait, no, we did the news, didn't we?
Yeah. The Tank Lord has taken over the land. Assemble a team or tread solo to defeat his evil forces and take back what is rightfully ours. Take control of a cute animal in a tank and blast through your enemies with your bullets and bombs. No gifts in the Steam description yet, but they got a week. They got 2 weeks. You can throw some in there. It's a solo def as far as I understand it. David Esuis in Ontario, who also shared it in our Discord. All 3 of these. We got a triple threat. People just hopped in our Discord, shared their work, and I wanted to get us to wishlist it. So, Steve, tell me what your thoughts on Tank Quest are.
It's co-op, right?
Yes. It's shared split screen PvP, shared split screen co-op.
I think
remote
co-op
play together, and single player.
A lot of fun. I think this would be a lot of fun, like co-op. And I'm digging it. For some reason, I have a like soft spot for the Bomberman kind of like top-down grid-based like shooters like this, like Bomberman or the tank, like there was like a tank game like this on the Wii Play.
The Wii Play, I was literally just thinking about that one.
Yeah, so like games like that, I have a soft spot for. So I'd be down to play this. Definitely the co-op part of it more than any sort of like battling arena type thing, if there is that.
Because I would beat you.
All right, never mind then. Deathmatch.
Steve, I gotta ask: is Tank Quest by David Esuis in Ontario coming out in 2 weeks on your Steam wish list?
Yes, it is.
That's it for wish list this week. If you want us to cover your game, like all these 3 games, hop in our Discord, tweet at us, get in front of us. I want to talk about it. I want to see it. I want to know what you're working on. I like games. We got anything for Discord discussion this week, Steve? We got 2 weeks of stuff. Everyone was talking about a lot of things.
I always forget what we discussed. I mean, the Xbox Indies happened. Did the Fallujah stuff come up in our Discord? I don't know if it did. I missed that.
I don't know.
We send memes on that ship that's stuck or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing stood out. I'm sure I haven't really been in the Discord that much the last like week or so.
You've been busy. I understand.
I've been busy. But I think what did get discussed was like because Sentience came out, right?
Yeah.
The studio that you work at.
The studio I work for.
So we're talking about Sentience and stuff.
Released the game.
Congrats.
Thank you to everyone in the Discord who played it. Thank you, Steve, for the congratulations. It's the best game Red Meat Games has ever released.
There you go.
There you go.
I like Bring to Light, so
I might have had to play it too much for work, but it wasn't my favorite.
I couldn't. I ended up not beating the last puzzle in Bring to Light.
Oh,
I was like, no, I don't
yeah. There's some puzzles in Bring to Light. Puzzles are hard, Steve.
And then you got to beat it twice or whatever. So I'm like, no.
All right, Steve. Actually, no, you can just reload the last save. But
Oh, that's true.
if you want to hop in our Discord, like Sam N, I want to put this to you, Steve. Sam asked our Discord yesterday, quote, which game do you think has the best player onboarding and tutorial levels, and how have they scaffolded learning? Dragon Slumber pointed out BioShock, which I agree. BioShock has a great like first hour, very integrated into the story. Like he says, some mechanics come down the line, like taking pictures, and then it still tells the player rather than getting them to do it. But I felt the pacing was good. And I agree with that point. I think the best tutorial in a game, Steve, is one you just won't notice it was a tutorial. It'll put you in a situation where you have to use the mechanism they're trying to teach you to get out of that situation. And there's no text that comes up and says press, or well, sometimes you have to say press this to do this. But like the less they tell you how to do it and the more they show you how to do it, the better. So I would argue like the best tutorials are the ones you don't notice. Mm-hmm. And I brought up Breath of the Wild's Great Plateau, which having watched like 3 or 4 people in my life who didn't really play a lot of games, just play Breath of the Wild from the start, they loved it and it really resonated with them. And by like 2 or 3 hours, they were climbing, they were jumping and gliding, some of them figured out shield surfing by accident. And that was a huge moment. And I think that Great Plateau, which by interviews with developers is what they obviously spent so much time on because you got to make a good first impression, is a great example of that sort of show don't tell. The first thing, you walk around a corner and there's like a rock up on the hill, and then you walk up to the rock and you see a bunch of bokoblins around a campfire, and you're like, come on, I got to push this rock on them. And that sort of teaches you the physics of the game. You walk into like this, you start going up the hill and it gets snowy and Link starts shivering and you're like, oh, Link's cold. And then you see these chili peppers and then there's a spot to cook them and you're like, huh. So I throw the chili peppers in the pot and then I have this like heat potion. So stuff like that is just like teaching you cooking, the physics, a lot of things just right away without pausing the game to open a screen and tell you what to do, you know? Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Just kind of looking through my PSN profiles to see any recent games, but I don't think so. One that kind of does jump to my mind, and actually I just kind of lost it because I'm an old idiot. What the fuck?
Was it recently played?
I think so. What game?
You were playing Going Under recently? You were playing...
Going Under was great. It wasn't the game I was thinking of. Oh, man. I'm such an idiot. What was it?
You're not an idiot, Steve. We love you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I think Dreams had a good like intro. That game, like that's like the story that they made in Dreams, like the campaign, quote unquote, was like really really good, and thematically it was all about like achieving your dream and like not doubting yourself and stuff like that. So it fit into like what they gave you. I thought that was like really good, and it kind of showed like what you can do with it, because there's like cutscenes in it. There's different types of games. There's a shooter, platformer, all these weird shit that happens in that game. I think that was like a really good one. Motherfucker, what was the game I was just thinking of? I can't even remember. When you were talking, I was like, oh, this one, but now I'm just going through my like list of games. I'm like, I agree though, like a game that doesn't feel like... Oh, actually, I remember now. So a game that doesn't like feel like a tutorial is best. It's funny you mentioned Breath of the Wild, because like every other Zelda game past the NES is like terrible.
Hey, listen.
But one game that I think has a really good intro is Resident Evil 7, especially if you're playing in VR, because it's like tailored made for like VR, because it does a lot of like the weird, like the cool stuff of like chopping off your hand, and he like looks at his hand and all that stuff. And I think that sort of sets, at least as someone who's coming in who played a lot of Resident Evils, I was like, this, it basically tells you like this is not like your typical Resident Evil. Like it's going to be very different, and it was. So I thought that intro did a really good job at that.
As a first VR game too, I would argue it's good at that. Where there's really no combat until you've proven that you can walk around and orient yourself in a VR space.
Yeah, like it's pretty much just a quote unquote walking simulator for the first like 30-40 minutes. Like the puzzle to open the like the attic door or whatever. And then it's not until like the dinner scene, and then the dude walks away, and then you get to break from the dinner, that you actually like start to kind of run away, but you don't even get a weapon like at that point. I think you don't get a weapon until like the first like after an hour or so. So I thought I thought Resident Evil 7 did a good job.
I also want to highlight Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, which is like a very, obviously the simpler the game mechanically, the simpler the tutorial can be. And all you do in Getting Over It is your mouse moves the tip of the hammer and you can push yourself around. But the game has the designer Bennett Foddy like talking to you as you play it. And I thought it was really interesting. He like introduces the kind of game he wanted to make and what he hopes you get from it. And like it's okay to like stop playing it if you don't want to play it. And like that would be another game I would give to somebody who's like never played a game before. Like, just play this. There's one thing you've used a mouse probably if you live in 2021, and you've probably moved the mouse. You know what I'm saying? And it's just super easy to get into. And the developer walking you through it, I think, is really interesting as well. As far as the most complicated game I've ever played in my life with the best tutorial, Crusader Kings 3, which came out last year, is just an incredibly deep and systems heavy real-time strategy game. But the tutorial is exceptional, Steve. It sets you up in like in a playthrough, like just getting started, and it really breaks you through. There's like cascading menus. You can know everything that's like a term of that you might want to know something about is highlighted, and you can put your mouse over it and it brings up a quick 1-sentence definition, and every icon you click on can open up like a question box telling you what it does right away. That tutorial was exceptional. I didn't stick with the game because I don't really like real-time strategy games, but I was really impressed with their tutorial.
I think the exact opposite for me was like Civilization 6, where it's just like so complicated. And
you have to read an encyclopedia to figure out.
Yeah, I played like 4 or 5 scenarios, like a different kind of thing, and fucking got smoked every time. And I didn't really know what I was doing, and kind of just like, I want to go back to it because like, it's like one of those things where like everyone loves the game except for me. So I'm just like, I want to go back to it. It's similar to like Witcher 3 and a few others, where I'm like, okay, I'm missing something. I just have to have it click, you know, like with Grindstone. Grindstone eventually clicked. So I'm just waiting for it to click. But then also,
we should play Civ together. I've always had more fun playing Civ with people than playing.
I thought you were going to set it up so that we can do the turn-based, like take turns thing.
So I tried to do that with someone else, and it was just such a pain because like games of Civ could be like 200 or 300 turns. But we should just like take an afternoon and play a game of Civ. We can do communism versus capitalism, see what wins.
See who finally wins. Oh, and that sets it up. Whoever does win, the other person has to convert.
Okay, I'm down. I'll probably. You don't want to agree to that because I've played a lot of Civ, but Civ was one of the only games I ever saw my dad like interested in playing as a kid. Whenever the new one came out, he would buy it, the physical disc, put it in the computer, and then on a Saturday just play like a game like 8 or 10 hours in a row, beat it, and then put it back in the box on the shelf. I don't know if I ever saw him play it again, but every Civ game that came out, he would just play it, beat it, and then I would play it afterwards. And we would play some games together sometimes. I played some with my mom and him too, but
yeah, I remember when my dad was sick. He was like sick for like 5 or 6 months before he actually passed away. Like he was, you know, he was depressed and down and stuff like that. And I was asking people like, you know, what's a good game for my dad who's just a giant book nerd, but like loves numbers and just wants to use his mind and stuff like that. So like, you know, Halo's not going to work. And people were like Civ 6, like it's a steep one, but like he will, you know, if he loves history, like he'll get into it and stuff. And you know, I never ended up getting a chance to like show it with him, but that was like one where people were like, no, like if nerdy like history and stat and just like planning and strategy and all that stuff, like that's what Civ 6 is. That's why I want to like get back into it, because it does seem like something I would enjoy. Just like I just don't know what the fuck I'm doing when I play. Like we'll barbarians kill me every time.
We can turn barbarians off. We can make it as chill as you want.
Yeah, but to me, it's like, if I just turn off, I don't know. I was thinking that, and then eventually, and also the expansion pack has like Hungarians in it, so I want to get that too.
Do you have Hungarian ancestry?
Yeah, I'm like half Hungarian.
Dope.
Hungarian. Stephen was the first. What is it? Saint Stephen the First was the first king of Hungary. I'm named after him.
Okay. And
his hand is like on display in like some church.
Of course it is.
It's the holy hand. Because Catholics are weird as fuck.
Catholics are pretty weird. We're on the same page there.
If you search like Stephen, King of Hungary, it's like the first king. Like it was like fucking died in 10,038. But his mummified hand is like on display in some church, and it's like on my bucket list to go visit that.
See the hand?
The Holy Rite displayed at St. Stephen's Basilica.
Basilica?
Yeah. I guess that's who I'm named after.
Nice. Is he a one of the Civ leaders in Civ?
No,
6?
I don't think so. That's the thing. If it was, I would have copped that right away. I would have. I would have got it right away, but I don't think he actually is. I don't know who it is because Canada's in the same expansion pack, and it's like John.
Yeah,
I think.
No, it's Wilfrid Laurier.
Oh yeah, I'm like, oh, you could have done better.
$10 bill guy.
Yeah, come on.
I would have probably picked Diefenbaker just for the coolest name.
That's fair. I mean, no one knows who any of these people are, anyways.
No, no one does. What have you been playing, Steve?
Haven't really. I mean, it's been a few weeks. I did play Going Under and platinumed it. Really enjoyed it for the first couple hours, and then it started to kind of just dwindle down because at the end of it, it's just like mash X sort of thing, or square, whatever the main attack is. But it's like the perfect game to play, like for the mood I was in. Like it's about tech startups, and the dialogue is pretty funny and all that stuff. And so I enjoyed that. That was fun. I have Blood Roots. I bought it. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played that much Mighty Fight Federation yet. I haven't really been playing too much. Honestly, been watching a lot of Naruto. So I haven't played too much. I did drop into some Sentience.
Thank you.
And I bought the the Founders Pack or whatever.
Oh,
whatever you
thanks,
call it.
Steve.
Decked myself out in gold. I didn't play too much of it. I played the tutorial in like 2 or 3 matches, but I can see it. I can see then. Like I had fun with it, and the last match, like my teammate came in clutch. Like he won it with like 3 seconds left.
That's pretty hype.
Yeah, and it was pretty sweet. So I think it has some things like I think it's a little janky.
Oh yeah.
And like 2 currencies, 2 premium currencies. I'm
Steve,
just like, oh, man.
preaching to the choir.
Like I was trying to think. I'm like, what other game has 2 premium currencies?
Apex, you can buy 2.
Can you?
Yeah, there's the gold one and the red one.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah,
because as much as like Grand Theft Auto and NBA 2K get shit for their fucking garbage, they only have 1 currency. That's what you buy, and I kind of like that's if you're going to do it, I kind of like that. But anyways, free to play. I think it's worth it. It's definitely like it's got that Assassin's Creed feel and sort of the like
multiplayer.
Among Us, yeah, the Assassin's Creed multiplayer and Among Us and all that. Like you don't know who's suspicious or you don't know who's like the robot that's in disguise. I only played as the rogues, I guess. Not the or who are the hunters? Who are the hunters in this?
Sentinels.
Yeah, I haven't played as the Sentinels yet. All my 3 matches have been rogues. So I haven't done that yet, but I think it's got a good base, and I think I think you gotta get lobbies in there too. I was talking to
Team play. So team play actually was in there. It wasn't consistent, and like you haven't dropped a match as playing just matchmaking, right? Like we got that pretty solid, and I haven't seen any complaints about that. But we just couldn't get team play consistent and working through Steam. Like we have everything set up, and we've done it successfully once or twice. Where like you pair up with your friend, you queue in together, you'll see their loadout next to your loadout, and you can start talking to each other then through the in-game chat. But yeah, we're that's like the next big update. I'll have that ideally. That's
good. Yeah, because I was talking to Eric Beer, one of our top patrons, botbook.com, about just something we're working on for the summer, and we were talking about Sentience, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get some of my friends and play it." I was like, "Yeah, man, do it." And then like after the call, I was like, "Wait, I don't think you can yet."
No, not yet.
You gotta hit start at the same time or something like that, and hopefully you get lucky. But I like it. It's fun. And congrats on the release, man. It's early access, so obviously like the jank and all that stuff. Like I think with early access you want to see what the future is and like if there's a good foundation, and I think there's a good foundation, so I liked it. But anyways, I'm kind of gushed over your game enough. What have you been playing?
Pretty much just Sentience. Like I'm at like 41 hours in the past week or whatever on my Steam page, just because now we're looking for bugs in there, and I'm like getting feedback and so much feedback. Thank you to everyone in the Discord. Thank you, Dragon Slumber, Joe Has Spoken, a few others who've been like personally DMing me a bunch of feedback. I've been taking all of that, and obviously I want the game to be better, and everyone on the team most people on the team really want the game to be better, and yeah, that's
I mean, looking at it, what are we at here? Oh wait, no
on Steam.
I don't want Marvel's Avengers. Come on,
no
one wants to play that. We're at 26 mostly positive reviews. Like that's pretty good.
That's the best launcher Amy Games has ever had.
So what do we have here? Up, edits below.
Developers can't. I learned developers can't review. Like if you're a Steam dev who has access, which everyone on the team does, you can't leave a review. So none of those 26 reviews are us.
It's funny some of the complaints. Like I simply can't recommend this game so long as the FPS is capped at 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, PC gamers love graphics settings, Steve. We have very bare bones, very 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 simple graphic settings. We have low, medium, high, 30 FPS cap. That was one of the big feedback I've gotten ever. Like, why is it 30 FPS? Why can't I do all these things?
That's so funny. That's crazy. To be honest, I didn't even pick up on it. I don't.
It is 2021, and pretty much it's 60 FPS is just standard, and the game's not there. You know.
Yeah, it's also not a graphic intensive game, so I can see being confused by that. To be honest, I can't pick up on that stuff, so I didn't even notice it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny though when I play because Spider-Man Miles Morales released that patch where it went from 30 lock to 60 lock or whatever, and I noticed it then. So I'm like, okay, I do notice it when I can flip back and forth. But playing the game at 30, I was totally fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's why I noticed jank. So I don't know. I'm dumb. But
me too.
That's good, man. That's a good launch. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, I'm okay with it. I'm happy it's out. It came in really hot, obviously, for all the reasons you mentioned. And yeah, I hope we get more time and resources to make it better. I want it to be better.
So let's see. Let's look at the achievements here.
There won't be a platinum, I don't think.
No.
That's
too bad. Is there going to be crossplay?
We're working on that. That is something we've been working on from the beginning, which is key for these kind of games.
Yeah, I think you're going to need that, especially because it's not like you'll have an advantage on PC versus controller or whatever.
Well, the dominant strategy I've seen so far watching, there's one of the Joes who does other writing and writes for Hard Drive, which is how I know them, said that the key thing as the rogue is being able to flip the camera behind you and see what's behind you, right? And that's really easy on the controller because the right stick you just spin around while keeping left stick forward. But when you're WASD moving with the mouse, it's a lot harder to look behind you. So he said he switched to a controller really quickly because that is the best way to see behind you as the rogue. But if PC players can do that as well as console players, obviously then there's no real advantage.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Give it a download, drop a review, drop an honest review. All I can ask for is honest feedback. That's what's most important right now.
Yeah.
That's it for episode number 181 of the CanadianGameDevs.com podcast, covering all the games made in Canada, the people who create them, like me. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to help us keep the site running, covering the Canadian Game Devs scene, back us over at patreon.com/CanadianGameDevs, where we have people increasing their pledge. Thank you so much, everyone. And one new patron who I want to shout out really quick. And I should have written this down instead of talking to make sure there's no dead air, because that just is not good. And now I've been talking for a while, and the new patron is Eleanor. Thank you, Eleanor, so much. Thank you, Slaughter Necco, for increasing your pledge, and PixelNots_Alex and Aaron, everyone increasing their pledge. Appreciate it a lot.
Go wishlist bombing on Steam.
Yeah, do it. At our $5 credited patron tier, we'll throw your name at the end of every episode like these lovely folks. Thank you so much, Aaron McLeod, Canuck Play David Winter, David Nagy, Eric Beer, check out thebotbuck.com, Elizabeth Avery, Hanel, Jean Leggett, Jeff Shepstone, Jeffrey Canham, newly minted patron Eleanor, Kai Hutchins, Nicholas A. Zorko, Nav from the Academy of Games, PixelNots_Alex, Sean Hayden, and Stacy H., as well as Slaughter Necco is now at our top tier. Thank you, Slaughter Necco. Check out Bombing on Steam. Wait, that is them. No, wait, Slaughter Necco's Bombing, right? I don't want to blow their cover. They use aliases for a reason, but friend of the show. If you know, you know.
Ooh, yeah.
If you listen on Apple Podcasts, drop us a review. It's right down there. Reviews help us. We want to take your feedback, good and bad. So let us know what you liked or didn't like about the show format, whether I should do things in different orders, drop things, add things. I want to know. Steve wants to know. That's it, Steve. You want to pick any sports games this week?
No, and I think the laundry is working right beside me, so that's the feedback on my end, so we should probably just wrap it up.
All right. The laundry has spoken. The episode's over, and thank you for listening.
Bye, everyone.
I was identical on my ears.
It's always like a little bit delayed for me.
Well, that's why we do it. Lesson learned, kids. Sync up your things. All right, Steve. Here we go.